Hello, Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. Got a little project today I'm working on out here at the museum that I thought you guys might be interested in seeing. Finally getting into a little bit more machine shop work after more or less having to take a little break to work on my shop at my home I'm working on. And I'm looking forward to a little distraction here to get out here and actually run some machines and do some work. So anyway, what I've got here is we've got some castings. These are for some railroad wheels for some cars to go on a little railway. And a little backstory on this. So this is actually not for the museum here, but this is for the Veterans Memorial Park down in Bristol, Florida. And they have a little 24-inch gauge railroad set up down there that they give rides on and what have you. Never actually been down there. I understand they've got a Crown steam locomotive that was built back in the early 60s or sometime in the 60s. I'm thinking that it's kind of an amusement park type steam locomotive. It's built like a real steam locomotive. It's just a newer one that was built for amusement parks more so than being a real old one. I think they have some diesel electrics or diesel powered locomotives down there as well. And they pull some cars around, and like I said, I've never actually been there. I've just talked to some of the guys down there. One of the guys that actually volunteers here at our museum and helps with running our steam locomotive also works with that group down there, and that's how I kind of got hooked up with them. But they've got some cars that they pull with their locomotives, and the wheels on the cars are getting in really rough shape, and they were needing to basically have some new wheels made. So they made some patterns. They had some blanks here that were cast, which is what I have here. This is one of the raw castings that they brought up here to me. And I'm pretty sure that this is actually cast steel. When I asked them about it, the guys that brought them up were not 100% certain, but it should be steel. I wouldn't want a railroad wheel made out of cast iron. I'd be afraid it would break. It would may shatter. And I've already machined a couple of these, just learning how to do it. And the way the material's working I'm pretty sure it's cast steel. But what we're going to be doing today is basically facing off the sides of these. So this is one I've already done, and I've got the back side here. This is all faced off flat. We've got a hole punched through here. So this is a 1-inch hole that the axles go on. I would have thought it would have been a little bit bigger than that, but that's the way they're set up. So I'm following their plans. And then turning this hub to 2.5-inch thickness, and so facing that off, this part up here is left rough, and turning the outside here so that I can chuck it on that and have it turn true when I flip it around. But all in all, you know, that's pretty much what we're going to be doing today. It's just facing the two sides. We will come in a later date and actually cut the face of this wheel. And it's a kind of a complicated cut. It's at a taper. It's got some radiuses in it. And quite honestly, I'm looking into doing that on a CNC lathe. I'm looking at some options right now to do that. So they brought 8 castings to me that they want me to go ahead and get machined, which is enough for them to get one car done. I think they have more castings. I'm not sure how many that they had made, and at a later date we may do some more for them. But they asked me if I could go ahead and get 8 done for them so that they could get ready. They only run their operation periodically throughout the year, and I think they're really not planning on running again until the fall. So pretty much got through the summer to get these done. They said if I could have them finished by sometime in August, they should be fine. We're looking at early May now when I'm shooting this video. So anyway, we'll go ahead and try to get these knocked out. I've already done the machining on 2 of these. This will be the 3rd one, and we'll go ahead and film this one now that I've kind of got the process figured out. And I actually did one. It's been several months ago now. They actually came down and they were going to try to do the machining themselves. But they didn't really know exactly how to do it, and they asked me if I would help them go through doing one. So they came up, spent a day with me. I didn't put it on film just simply because I had so many people around and so many questions being answered and asked and what have you that we basically spent a day and went through the whole process, and I worked with them to kind of show them what needed to be done. They have a lathe at the museum. As it turned out, their lathe really was not adequate for the job. So they came back and asked me if I'd be willing to help them out and do these, and I agreed to do so. So that's where we're at. Let's go ahead and get this thing chucked up, and we'll start machining. So I've got this chucked up just in a 3-jaw chuck here on the lathe. This is a rough casting, so obviously, you know, there's a lot of run out and wobbling in the rough casting, as always. You're never going to get a rough casting that's real true. So basically what I do when I'm dealing with this is I'll probably shuffle it around in my 3-jaw chuck a couple places and just try to find the place that looks the best. And I can tell you, you know, we've got some variation in the thickness of this rim. I mean, this probably, I'm just looking at this, it's probably a good 1/8 of an inch thinner here than it is up here, if not even, you know, 3/16 or something. There's a pretty good difference between these thicknesses. So we just got to start somewhere and removing material. So we'll go ahead, like I said, this center hub, this is where they poured the cast steel down the center, so, and then they cut these off. So most of this little part gets machined off, and basically this just gets machined flat. So the outside rim and the inside hub should be the same, on the same plane when we get through with this. On this particular one, we may have a little bit of a void in here where it doesn't quite clean up, and that's fine. We're going to be doing some more machining to this rim later on, so I'm not worried if it's particularly on the rim, if it's completely cleaned up. We just want to get the hub cleaned up, and like I said, we're going to be doing more machining to that later on. So I can tell you that this stuff is hard. It's a very hard material. I have tried to use 2 different high-speed steel tools on this when I was playing around. One of them, when I was actually trying to cut this face, I had a tool with I think it was a 1/2 inch radius or something like that, that would, or maybe it was a 1/4 inch radius, I can't remember, whatever it was that matched what that inside radius was going to be, and it just burned it up, just taking a light cut. And I also had a little chamfer tool that I was trying to deburr these edges here, and it just ate that piece of high-speed steel up too. So this is some pretty hard material. My carbide tools, they seem to be cutting it pretty well. So, you know, that's what we're going to use. We're pretty much going to have to use carbide to cut this particular project. Let's get in here and touch off and start cutting this. Make about a 50,000 step to cut. It seemed to be working pretty good on the last ones I did. We've got this, the center hub whittled down to the point where now the outside is starting to come into place. So anyway, we'll start making passes all the way across the entire face. We'll stop it in the middle and move up to the inner hub just to save on time, but we got to cut all the way across. Again, I'm making about a 50 thousandths depth of cut, and I've got a little dial indicator set up down here that I can just reach in there, dial in a 50 thousandths, and let her go. I was noticing while I was machining that I was getting some pretty weird sparks coming out. And when I get through, I see what's going on. We got some inclusions in this casting, some pockets in there. Didn't really show up on the outside, but you know, this one up here is pretty dang big. I don't know if that casting is going to be usable or not. I'm probably going to go ahead and just finish doing what I'm doing to it, but I'm going to take some pictures of that and send it down to the guys down in Florida, let them look at it, and I suspect they'll probably bring me another casting or two up here in case we run across some more of these. Next step that I want to do is I want to actually just true up the outside of this rim. It's not really important for the actual wheel because this is going to actually have a radius all the way around it. We'll do that later. But what is important is that I have a good true surface that I can turn this around and chuck to when I flip this around. And if I leave it like this, I really don't have anything I don't have a machine surface to work off of to grip it on. So we're just going to skim off enough to clean it up, even if it's not 100%. As long as we got a place where we can grip it in the 3-jaw chuck, we'll be good. I think that's good. Didn't quite clean up here, but we got a surface there we can chuck on. So that's good enough for now. Next step is we need to drill a hole through there. We want it to be exactly 1 inch. So I'm gonna center drill it. We'll drill it 1/2 inch. We'll drill it close to 1 inch and then bore it out to size. I measured my hole. I'm about 30 thousandths under size, and I'm just going to use a boring bar to bore this out. I've actually got a 1-inch reamer ordered that I can just run through these and clean them all up and get them exactly the size, but I don't have it yet. So for right now, I'm just going to use the boring bar. We'll come in here, probably take about 20 thousandths, measure it, and clean it up in another pass or two, depending on what it takes. So let's do it. Speed that up. Measure this, I'm using a telescoping gauge, so I can put that up in here. I'll put it in here crooked, expand it out, tighten it up, and then kind of, there we go, bend it forward there, and get a measurement on that. Measure with the micrometer. And it looks like I've got about 8 thousandths to go. Got it in the calipers just so you can see it. You want to measure that with a micrometer, but I'm about 1,000th over, so we're good to go. That's perfect. Last step here, I want to just touch these corners in here and deburr them. So I've got a little angle tool in there, and we'll just come in here and put a slight chamfer on these edges just to break the edge so nobody gets cut or anything when they're handling it. Be good. Got this flipped around now. It's running true on the back side here in the face, or the rim. Of course, again, the rough casting, we got a little bit of wobble on this end, but no big deal. This is going to be machined out again on this face here later. Right now what I want to do is I want to face this inside hub, and the thickness of this hub needs to be 2.5 inches, and it needs to be pretty close. So we're going to face that off. We'll be making some measurements to get that down to where we want to be. So I did a quick measurement. We got about 100 thousandths of material that needs to be removed to start with, or to get it down to that thickness. So I'll probably just start with about a 50 thousandths cut, and we'll get a good measurement after we clean it up and take it down to size. I'm touching off there. I'm going to zero my indicator that I've got down here. You can't see it, but I got that indicator on here, and we'll take a 50 thousandths cut. Let's feed it in there. Next step here is I need to get a good measurement on the thickness of this hub, and to do that, I'm using a special micrometer, and ironically it's called a hub micrometer because it's just for this, it's for measuring a hub. So a regular micrometer wouldn't fit up in this hole. This one will fit up in the hole. We'll come up in here and we'll measure. I've got a little chip in here, hang on a second. I can see it and I know it's going to give me a bad measurement. All right. So again, I'm wanting to be on 500 thousandths, and right now I'm on, I'm about, well, right about 100 thousandths right there. That wasn't 100 thousandths, that was 600 thousandths. I meant to say I have 100 thousandths to go. So again, I'm going to dial in another 50 thousandths on my dial indicator, measuring the travel as I come in here, and we'll make another pass and we'll make another measurement. Like I've got about 52 thousandths or 51 thousandths, 51 thousandths to go. So I'm just going to dial in 50 thousandths again and see where we're at. We're right on the money, so we'll go with that. So I wanted to zoom you in here on this hub micrometer and show me getting the measurement here. And I'm right on the money. I get asked a lot from people about using a micrometer, about how do you know how tight to put it on there. And if you got your better quality micrometers will have a little ratchet on the end here, and you see I'm turning that and it's slipping, and that's calibrated to the pressure that you want to do. So this one here is just directly going in and out, but when you get down to the tight, you use the ratchet, and that'll automatically put the right amount of pressure on there. If you don't have one with the ratchet, it's hard to tell someone how tight to turn a micrometer. And really probably the best thing to do is for you to get a micrometer that has a ratchet use it and you kind of get a feel for how much pressure you would use on one that doesn't have the ratchet. But I always look for one that has a friction thimble on it here that will slip and give you that little ratcheting action when possible, because you're going to get better measurements with that. They'll be repeatable. I got this last one off, and looking at these inclusions in here, I mean, some of these, you know, these aren't terrible. That one there is kind of bad. That one there I wouldn't be worried about. That one right there will actually machine out, but this one here, I'm going to take a little thing and just kind of stick down in here. And that's going that deep down inside the casting. I think this one here is a candidate for the scrap pile. I'll talk to them at the museum down there, the railroad, and see what they want to do, but I imagine they'll send up another casting for me to do. I may just go ahead and have them send me a couple of extras in case I run across that again. Hopefully I won't. That'll be a wrap for this video, guys. I've got 3 of the 8 machined out. Again, one of these will probably be a scrap, so I really probably need 6 more to get their 8 order in. So I'll be working on those off camera over the next few days. It's not that bad of a job. I can probably do all the machining that I just did here in, I don't know, 30-45 minutes if I can just sit there and work on it without shooting video and whatever. So we'll knock those out pretty quick. The next step again is going to be to put this profile on here for the wheel, and there's a taper. It comes up, there's a radius in the bottom and then another radius out here at the top, and then it actually radiuses over in the back too. And I've got all the drawings and stuff for this profile, and again I think I'm going to do that on a CNC lathe. That's my plan. I've got a friend, Forbes Matthews, that has a CNC lathe, and he's told me I could use it, so we will probably attempt to do that on his machine. The only caveat to that is Forbes really doesn't know how to use that machine very well, and I'm not much of a CNC guy either, but another buddy of mine, Mike Wiggins, who's the Backyard Machine Shop YouTube channel, he does some CNC work. They do mostly CNC mill work where he works, and he's manager over that shop. So he said he can give me a hand with the programming, and he's probably going to come over when we do that and help us get the CNC lathe running. It's not a big deal. I have done a little bit of CNC work, but I'm by no means an expert. If we can get the machine set up to do it, it won't be a big deal to cut these profiles. So that'll be coming at some point down the road, probably a little bit later this summer. But we will get back on this and get these finished and get these wheels down to Florida, so they will be ready to go with their stuff in the fall. They'll at least have one new car ready. So thanks for watching. Some good cast steel machining going on here today, and I got a little more work to do off camera. We'll talk to you guys later.